Hi everybody. So I wanted to mirror this video by Tommy Grønvold, who recently met up with the Globe Live tour and spoke to Jason of the Disbury family through in Oslo. But Tommy's original video does suffer from some audio problems, so I've created my own edited version where I've spliced audio and some video from Jason's version of the encounter over on his channel and tweaked some of the audio when Tommy's speaking and so on, just so that it's a bit easier to see and hear what's going on. In addition, I've made a couple of other changes to Tommy's original upload. I've cut off the introductory section of Tommy's video where he spends some time trying to locate the people who are doing the Globe Live tour. And at the other end, Tommy was forced to end his video at a certain point because the battery died on his camera, but the conversation continues a bit longer, and you can see that on Jason's version where he's recording with his phone. So in this version you can see the conversation continue a little bit longer. However, Jason's version also cuts off abruptly, so I've just chosen the point not long before that to end the video because he's right in the middle of talking about something when it suddenly cuts off. So this is a slightly varied version of the encounter, and hopefully Tommy won't mind too much. Cheers.
Hey.
You believe in this guy?
Yeah, sure.
Nice.
That's
nice.
That's nice.
Okay, I'll give you one question, you can do me one question, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
How about, okay. So, what's it? Two opposing gas pressures. What separates them? We've got the vacuum of space, and we've got, our atmosphere here.
Yeah.
Okay, what's it, like 14 point something per square?
Yeah.
So, what is the barrier that separates them two?
Gravity.
Sorry?
Gravity. Because there's the
How can you prove that? So there's something magical that's pulling all of this.
There's a gradient and all that.
There's a gradient. How can you prove this?
I'm just going to switch my camera. This is going to be fun.
That's okay.
Sorry.
But how can you prove this? No, that's okay.
Sorry.
But how can you prove this? This magical force of gravity.
What kind of proof do you like?
Well, no, I'd like. What's it? I mean, other than something just dropping.
If I want to show you gravity, how do you want to see it? That's the point.
I want you to prove it to me that it's real. That it's what's it?
How prove it? How should I prove it to believe it? That's the question. How would you like me to show you gravity?
Hey, look. If you're saying that gravity exists and you've just made a claim that gravity exists, do you think that the proof should come from you, not from me trying to educate you on what gravity is? So, what do you think gravity is? This magic.
Something I really don't understand. You talk about the globe being Earth being flat.
Okay. But you're saying, so my argument is there's water that goes around a ball, and your argument would be that gravity holds all of this to the centre of the Earth, okay? That pulls everything to the centre of the Earth. So how could you prove that? You believe that? You seem as though that you're trying to form an answer there that it's so difficult. You should have given me this answer so easily by now.
That's why I asked, how do you like to see gravity? Because whatever I show you, we won't accept it.
Oh, okay, so try me.
Yeah.
What would you give?
Cambridge experiment.
Okay, so two masses being pulled together.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you prove that? Can you demonstrate that works? Two masses being pulled together. I've watched it. I've watched teachers and all that struggle with it.
I've seen BM Furbol's channel.
I haven't. No.
He's done Cavendish in South Korea now for half a year.
Okay.
And it's done all over the.
Can you name that channel again? So.
BM Furbol.
Okay, BM Furbol. We'll have to look into that. BM Furbol. Okay. So this magical force that is pulling everything together. So I look at it as a imaginary line going all the way up to the sky, all the way up, okay, and goes up to let's say an aeroplane at 30,000-40,000 feet. There's a guy in that aeroplane, and he drops an apple, and that apple is being pulled down by gravity. This magic. And that's what it is, magic. So in the air, all the way in the air, in the atmosphere, all the way up to that plane, what is gravity that's pulling it? What is it? Is it magnets, like a magnet? What is it?
It works just about the same way, but two different forces. Yeah.
Can you explain exactly what it is? Do you know what it is? Because you believe it, but without proof.
How about this?
No, but I'm asking you a question. Do you understand the difference between knowing something and believing in something?
Yeah.
Okay, so would you admit that it's just something that you believe? Would you admit that?
This one.
He's talking to us, Simon Denver.
So would you believe that it's something that it's a belief? Because you can't, because you seem to be struggling in proving it.
I have this one. If you're
Oh, by the way, we'll do this for about 10 minutes because I've come a long way to. But
I know, I see the
no problem. Let's see what you can do.
Hello, I'm Tommy Grønvold.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm on YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I've done this a whole lot.
Right.
To show how the Earth not can be flat.
That cannot be flat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
what about all this land that I get to see?
If you, the best proof of turning a pizza from a ball.
Okay.
What would that be?
Whoa. Who says it's pizza?
Flat.
I didn't say that.
What shape is Earth?
I don't know. I've never been. I'm the foggiest. What we're looking for is curvature.
It's a globe line. We know.
See, you've been listening to Simon Dan too much.
What is it?
No, we don't say it's a pizza.
Right.
He says that. He's been trolling you lot for ages.
Sorry.
He's been trolling you. We don't think that. We've never said that.
But what shape is it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
How would we know that?
We just know that it's not.
We know it's not a ball. You're making a claim, and people are making a claim that you live on a ball, and we're saying that we want proof, but you're not providing proof. You know what you give me? This is what you give me. You give me you give me photographs like this that has copy and paste clouds. That's your proof.
Is that horizon flat?
Oh, I really don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. But do you think that you can see curvature? Do you think that you can? Do you think that you can see curvature on the ground? Do you think that?
Yeah.
Okay, but mainstream science says that you cannot see curvature on the ground.
Yeah. If you want to see something small, like an atom, use a microscope.
Yeah.
If you see something far away, use a telescope.
So when Neil deGrasse Tyson
Yeah,
says,
right.
so when Neil deGrasse Tyson says, when you're up there, when the Felix Baumgartner, when he does that jump, and he says that you cannot see any curvature
Yeah,
whatsoever from that distance. So when he says that, but are you going against that? Is he lying?
No, because you'll be with your eyes.
Hang on, you can't have it both ways. Can you have it? You can have it both ways. So on the beach you can see curvature,
With the camera.
but in space
Yeah. This is with your eyes. That moves flat.
you're saying we need to be clear. We need to be clear. This
Yeah.
you're saying on the beach you can see curvature, but in space you can't see curvature.
With your eyes. You need tools.
Oh, sorry. Well, he had cameras and things, didn't he? And Neil deGrasse Tyson says that you cannot see any curvature from that height. Is he lying?
With your eyes, yeah. Because
He didn't say anything else like that. I mean, like you're putting words into his mouth now. Did he? He didn't say that. He says that you're not going to see curvature.
You need tools.
You need tools.
Yeah.
Okay. What sort of
If
tools
you
would
want
that
to see
be?
an atom, you use
We're not talking atoms. We're not talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to see something far away, use a telescope.
But that telescope is going to zoom into something. You know, like I know the way perspective works. I mean, like so that telescope is just going to zoom into something. It's not going to expand something out, is it?
That's
It's just
why
going to
you
zoom
use the,
into something.
That's why you use the wide-angle lens to get the distance.
And the wide angle lens
Yeah.
has
Distortion.
has distortion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you think I had a straight board?
So what you're saying is that so you can manipulate it with Photoshop or something.
No, paint.
With paint, with Windows Paint. Okay. So what we're saying is that this has been manipulated, yes,
It's been squished side to side out it.
because of a wide-angle lens
Yeah, I-
creates distortion.
Did I add a curve?
So why? I don't know. But we just agreed that a wide-angle lens creates distortion. We just agreed that.
That's why I had a board, because the board is still straight.
Sorry.
That's to show there's no distortion.
Okay. But you're saying, I need to show you guys this. You're saying that from that distance to that distance, that is curvature.
Yeah.
That's one small Earth.
No.
Yeah. No, that's one small Earth. Basically, if that's curvature, basically what we're saying that Earth is probably, I don't know, about 4,000 or 5,000 miles in diameter. If you keep if you keep creating that shape and creating that shape and creating that shape, it'll only be about 4,000 or 5,000 miles, wouldn't it? In circumference.
How much degrees do you think is in there?
I really don't know.
Quarter of a degree or something.
I really don't know.
That's a pretty big ship down back there.
But I know that I've done this one. Do you know a chap called Plane Ranger? Well, he's had a level about that size, and he puts it against the sea, and then we don't see any curvature whatsoever. So why are you seeing curvature?
Maybe he didn't do it right.
And yet he's been doing it for some years now, and he's got lots of evidence. Okay.
Yeah, so do I.
See, I don't believe that for a second. Now, what I would do is go out and do my own observations, and I can guarantee that you do not see that curvature.
How about this? If I was...
Okay.
If I was iometric or imperial.
Okay. I'm metric.
Yeah. If I'm 22
I was
meters
imperial.
above the sea.
Okay.
And I have a wind turbine. This is 300 meters high.
Okay.
How far away do I need to have that before I see it below my eye level?
I don't know, but go on.
Yeah, that can happen on the flat Earth.
Hang on, you're saying it can't happen. I mean, you know about perspective and angular resolution. You've looked into that, surely.
Perspective.
And you looked into angular resolution and compression. You looked into that.
How does,
Did you look into angular resolution and compression? So when we see a ship and then it says stenoline, and you can see that stenoline is all squished, and so the top half of the boat isn't all squished. That is the compression, isn't it? And that's how what's it perspective and compression works.
Let me explain it.
Okay.
When you have that wind turbine, 300 meters high.
It's what?
300 meters.
300 meters high.
150 meter hill and 150 meter
Okay.
wind turbine in Sweden.
Yeah.
How far do I need to push that before to get below my eye level? How does perspective work?
And compression. But that's going to be different each time, because that's about atmospheric conditions, isn't it? So that's going to change.
You see, I was about 70 feet above. That's 70 meters.
No.
Yeah. And I have those wind turbines.
Do you see what we've written there? This was the Blackpool in the distance.
Yeah.
That's 65 miles away,
Yeah.
and 2,500 feet should be hidden. The highest mountain is the highest mountain. That's based on that. The highest mountain is
Who invented that formula?
I don't know
Tommy
who.
Grønvold.
Okay.
No globe used that formula ever.
Does it not work for, let's say, 65 miles?
Yeah, but
Does it work for 65 miles? Does it work for 65 miles? Does that formula work for 65?
For observer height.
That 8 inches per squared mile, does it work for 65 miles?
If it has observer height, yes.
Okay, so it does work.
If you have observer height.
Right, so that's kind of... So it works.
Is observer height calculated in this?
So what we're saying... Yes, it is.
Target height.
Okay, yes, it is. So this is Calais to Dover.
Yeah.
24.8 miles.
Yeah.
The highest peak is 350 feet. Okay? But 300 feet should be missing. You should see maybe a few little peaks, little tiny peaks, but we can see the entirety of the whole White Cliffs of Dover. Why are we seeing that?
Did you still have observer height?
Observable height, yes.
Yeah.
And that's the same. Well, look at this. Look, we'll just go one step further. This is 273 miles away, 3 miles high.
That's a big
and the
Have you seen the page of the photographer?
Look.
You see that once a year.
Well, regardless, but we see it. We see it. And then you've got the, did you watch the Canigou, mountains, and you've seen the sun code, behind them, you can see that. Did you see that on it? I think it was Durin or Globus. Why are you denying on stuff like that?
Why do none of this?
We'll look into it. I promise you, I'll look into it. But I know it's to do. I know it's to do with angular resolution and perspective and compression.
How does perspective work? Does perspective allow something to go from above eye level to below eye level?
Everything goes up to the centre of eye level, from the sky coming down to the centre. Okay, so we're in agreement there.
From above to below.
Well, that depends on how you've angled the camera, surely.
No.
Well, I don't know how you've angled the camera. I don't know that because I wasn't there with you. So I mean, you can have your camera still, you can have it up and tilted down, you can have it down and tilted up. I think it does when it comes to perspective.
That's my camera.
Okay.
That's the water level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch here.
Yeah.
That's eye level.
Right.
Yeah. That's eye level center screen.
Okay.
Yeah. How about this? That's still eye level, bottom screen.
Okay, but we're on land though, so it's a bit okay, but we're still.
Doesn't matter.
What I'm saying is that we're still on land. That, I mean, none of this proves anything because we're on land, aren't we?
level.
But we're still on land. It doesn't prove anything, does it?
That's eye level, top screen.
Okay,
So
but
it doesn't matter what's.
okay, but what I'm saying is that.
You have a point of
But we
reference.
can't look at horizons or anything on land. Do you agree with
As
that?
long as you have a point of reference, it doesn't matter.
Right. But you can't. So, sorry, on land.
This is a point.
On land, that makes a difference, does it? I mean, that you can have hills as high as whatever on land. All your observations need to be done by on the sea, doesn't it? All your observations need to be done there, yeah.
That's why I had this one.
Okay.
That's my point of reference.
Yeah.
My point of reference also that.
Is the lighthouse?
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are below my eye level.
Sorry, those are below your eye level.
Yeah.
But this is to do with perspective again, isn't it? Okay.
Perspective doesn't-
Look.
Perspective
Here
doesn't-
on the street. I can't argue with this or not. This is something that I've got to take away. Would you agree with that? Do you think I could argue this on the street?
Can I agree with this one?
Well, I would like you at least to go and to take that. I mean, like, I would say Dover to Calais. Yes, you could argue that one. You could. It's because we're talking 24 miles, aren't we? I mean, there is a point of reference there. You know, like we can see exactly where the guy stood here on the beach. We can see that the White Cliffs of Dover. You can see them. I mean, is that something that you would look into, that part?
Would you look into this one?
Yes, I will. I would never not. Of course I would.
Yeah.
Of course I would. I've got your name here. And
Just to change batteries.
of course I would look into that because that's something that I've not seen before.
Because
Well, I like the way that you're, at least I hope that you're challenging and not just doing it all biased and one-sided. Are you open-minded enough to see both sides?
are you?
I am.
Yeah.
I am. It's just that it's just because I've seen maybe NASA. I can't accept the footage and all that we get from NASA because I've seen too many lies from NASA.
Then again, why would you bring up something I can't prove?
In what way?
Can you prove disprove gravity in some way? Can you do that personally?
Myself. My knowledge on gravity would have to become, in the past, would have to be that I would submit to an authority that someone knows something better than me about gravity. That would be in the past. Okay? Now I'm asking for proof. And I think as any adult and any person should be able to ask for proof on gravity, not just you dropping some, but ask for proof that this magical thing all around us, and I think that you should be able to ask for proof and get that proof. And where is it?
Why do you bring up something either of us can do something?
Oh, right, because I mean, like, we would need, we would need hours and days to go through all the footage of NASA. And you've obviously, you must have seen all the anomalies with NASA and the footage of the ISS. And
Something you can prove.
in what way?
Can you? We can't do anything about NASA.
You're scoring points now. This isn't about scoring points. I want to appeal to you as a human being and just say, have you seen them anomalies that look strange? Yes, no, you've shut down and you're becoming. You're trying to score points to win an argument. I'm not here to play games and win an argument. The glitches on videos,
Yeah.
that's one of them. How about bubbles in space? How about
all over the place? Not one direction.
So-
That's not bubbles.
that's not bubbles?
No.
When you kind of see it kind of go up and then
Yeah.
you see.
But that's not bubbles.
What about?
I've seen bubbles in the water.
yeah.
That's one way.
Okay. Sorry. Yes. How about? Did you see the footage when mate is taking the screw out of the hatch door or something and it just falls on the floor?
No, again,
Did you see that?
You just.
I don't want to try and score points. I just want to highlight a
Why
couple
are
of
you
things.
using everything that you can prove by yourself.
No, but again, these aren't things I can prove. These are things that I've
All my
witnessed.
observations. I have done my observations.
Okay. Sorry, hang on. You're generalising there. You've done your observations. So you went to space.
No.
Oh, then you haven't done your observations. Exactly, I haven't.
Why do you bring it up then?
In what way? I'm not trying to score points or anything.
Why do you use it then?
Sorry?
Why do you use it?
It's not to score points. It's just trying to highlight to you that a lot of people are coming to this with just trying to win an argument. It's not about winning an argument. I'm quite happy to say I'm quite happy to say that I don't know. On this, there's an awful lot of things that I don't know, and you've probably done some research that I haven't personally done. You've done that research, but I've done some research that you probably haven't done.
Sure.
Okay?
If you don't know, why do you look at this one? It's
I'm just going to give him another 10 minutes and then we'll move on. Look, let's
look like this one. This is exactly what I have here.
Okay.
That one matches perfectly what I have here.
And you would accept that water can bend then?
Easily cut and level.
So you're saying that that's okay?
Yes.
Yes, because it's culture.
Oh, black coffee.
Black coffee.
Lovely, thank you. No, black coffee, no milk. Excuse me. Yeah, so you accept that one as that's okay?
Yeah.
See, I find that really odd.
That's
that
the curvature of the earth.
Okay, I do find that very odd.
That's it, yeah. If you have big enough like this.
And I find odd the fact that you yourself, without distortion, that you say that that's okay, that photograph. But anyway,
where's the distortion? That's this.
On that, right here, right now. Unless I get it on my Photoshop and I examine that photograph properly.
Tomorrow morning.
Okay. In what do you mean?
I'm going back there, and I have another straight walk.
Okay. I'm off to. Well, we're making our way to Stockholm tomorrow, so.
Yeah, I'm going back there. This is the end of the road in Tønsberg.
Okay. So if you can send the raw image of that hasn't been edited.
Listen, tomorrow I'm going back there.
Okay.
And then I have one more board on top of that one to eliminate every single piece of.
Well, that'd be interesting. Well, I'd be interested in looking at that. Have you also? Because I think that would be interesting to go on Nathan Oakley's show. Have you been on that?
Yeah, but I don't really like him. He's a bit.
I know. Yeah, it's not. We shouldn't be. It's not about who we like and who we don't like. If you've got some, great evidence there that proves your claims, then people need to see that.
I want to go home and the rest.
Yeah.
Be sure that we are not light.
Rory has done here.
Yeah.
Where you have one on top and one on the bottom.
Right.
Just like that one.
So I really don't know what am I looking at? What's he looking at there?
Long straight board.
Okay, and so does that say Plane Ranger. He does a lot of that. And Ranty Flat Earth, he's been doing observations like that. You've seen that?
He's no flat earther.
Ranty
is no flat earther.
He's no flat earther.
He's the best evidence for globe ever.
Is that what you think?
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
The ship is filming for half an hour over the curvature.
Over the curvature?
Yeah.
Sorry, and we see compression first on we're talking about the Stena ship, and we're talking about it being squished and squished and squished.
What ship it is, but
I think it's the Stena one. I think that's what it is. See, this argument came about first.
Pretty big one.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can still see the people on board here.
Right. There is I think it's Taboo Conspiracy. Have you watched his latest video?
How much of the ship do you see there?
Have you watched Taboo Conspiracy's latest?
You see the chimney on the radar. That's it. Where's the rest of the ship?
That's compression and angular resolution.
So you're hiding.
Compression and angular resolution, and then there will be obviously some waves and things out in the front and all that.
Down there.
No, because you're putting the full size of a ship. Now I know that full size is going to be squashed and squashed and squashed. You're saying no, and yet it can be proved. It can be proved. If you go onto Taboo Conspiracy, and he did a great video on angular resolution and perspective. Go and watch that one, Taboo Conspiracy. He puts the coin on the table and watches that go away, and you see it disappear. This entire coin, and it's on a flat surface, and he just sees that disappear. Have you not seen that?
To be someone who doesn't know, you're denying quite a lot.
Like what? What did they deny?
Yeah, this observation.
Because you're saying that isn't being squished, and yet we've seen the bottom of holes. We've seen it being squished. We've seen that.
You agree that perspective allows stuff to go into the vanishing point.
To your eye, yes, and it's relative to where you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why does it go through that and below?
Say that again.
Why does the wind turbines? They should be above eye level.
You're making that claim. You're saying they should.
They harm me.
Well, I don't know that yet until I get home and look at that. I'm not going to make an observation.
I'm at 22 meters.
Okay.
Then those wind turbines are 300 meters.
Again, I can't really make any calls on this right now here on the street. I need to take that away and have a look.
Yeah, but how can that be on the flat Earth?
Again, you're making a claim that I can't actually refute here on the street. I need to get that on my computer. Still need to get that on my computer, and I would go over it. But here on the street, I wouldn't make a statement about that either way. I wouldn't.
But you're denying it still.
I'm not denying it. Did I? At what point did I just deny it then? I'm not agreeing with you. That's not denying. I refuse to agree with you.
Yeah. So just have a nice talk here with Jason from Globe Tour.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the talk.
Yeah, cheers, buddy.
Thank you. And I should have said have a nice trip further, but you're done now, so you're going home.
We've got Stockholm, we've got Helsinki, and then we've got Leicester Square.
Yeah.
And then we're home.
How long has it been? 3 months?
Not for me, but yeah, it's been 3 months for
Yeah.
the tour. Yes.
I really appreciate your work because that's not something everyone does. But I still agree with you. Disagree with you.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I accept that. That's okay. But as long as that we are allowed to talk about this without fear and ridicule.
Yeah. But when you have someone who actually has done this research and you're still denying it. Arr.
No. Oh, that's on. You show me your research. That's on the back burner as pending. I need to go away now and look at that research. I'm not going to do that or here on the street and then give you an answer.
Thanks again. You're a nice person.
Cheers, buddy.
Yeah.
Cheers, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Still not that. Yeah. That was a lucky shot. That was awesome. We had a long talk about a lot of things, and he says he doesn't deny things, but I really don't know. Well, now I'm going to take the train home. That was awesome. I showed him plenty of my observations, and of course he wouldn't look at them. He just had his own evidence of something. I showed him the coverage at the end of the world. I showed him the wind turbines, and he went into satellites, of course. And I showed him the satellite dishes, and he said the satellites would burn up. And I showed him the sparkling thing I had on my hand, and he still doesn't believe any of this. So now I'm going to find the train home. That paid off big time. So yeah, and remember, watch Simon Dan. See ya.